In the heart of New York City, a once bustling metropolis now lay in ruins. The year was 2023, and a mysterious virus had swept through the city, transforming its inhabitants into grotesque creatures that roam the deserted streets. The once thriving city that never slept had succumbed to an eerie silence, broken only by the haunting echoes of the infected. Dr. Emily Carter, a brilliant virologist, was immune to the virus that had decimated the population. Alone, she wandered the desolate streets, searching for answers to the plague that had taken everything from her. The once great city now resembled a graveyard, with skyscrapers standing as crumbling tombstones. Emily's days were spent scavenging for supplies and desperately trying to avoid the infected creatures that lurked in the shadows. Her nights were filled with the chilling cries of the creatures that seemed to multiply as darkness fell. The city, once a symbol of life and progress, had become a graveyard for the living and a hunting ground for the dead. As Emily explored the city, she stumbled upon a makeshift shelter in the remains of what used to be a prestigious research facility. Inside, she discovered the remnants of a failed experiment, a laboratory notebook containing the desperate writings of Dr. Victor Kane, a scientist who had tried to reverse the effects of the virus, driven by a renewed sense of purpose. Emily delved into Dr. Kane's notes, hoping to find a cure that could save what was left of humanity. The more she read, the more she realized the horrifying truth. Dr. Kane's experiments had not only failed, but had also unleashed a new breed of mutated creatures, more terrifying than the original infected, haunted by both the infected and the monstrous creations. Born from failed experiments, Emily pressed on, determined to make amends for the sins of those who had come before her. As she traveled deeper into the heart of the city, she encountered survivors who had managed to evade the clutches of the infected, each with their own tales of loss and despair. One survivor, a former police officer named Marcus, joined Emily on her quest for a cure. Together, they faced not only the relentless onslaught of the infected, but also the twisted experiments gone awry that lurked in the darkness. The duo formed an unlikely alliance, their fates intertwined as they navigated the treacherous labyrinth of New York City. As Emily and Marcus delved into the heart of the abandoned research facility, they discovered the remnants of Dr. Kane's final experiment, a serum that held the potential to either save humanity or plunge it into an even deeper abyss. The stakes were higher than ever as they battled not only for their lives, but for the future of the world itself. With time running out and the infected closing in, Emily and Marcus faced a harrowing choice. Should they risk using the untested serum, or should they accept the grim reality that the once vibrant city was now condemned to be a graveyard for all eternity? As the final echoes of the city's past lingered in the air, Emily and Marcus stood at the precipice of salvation or damnation, their fates hanging in the balance as the shadows of the infected closed in around them. The last remnants of humanity clung to hope, knowing that the choices made in the dying city would echo through the annals of time. Emily and Marcus navigated the labyrinthine corridors of the research facility, their flashlights casting long, eerie shadows on the dilapidated walls. The air was thick with tension as they approached the makeshift laboratory where Dr. Kane had conducted his ill-fated experiments. As they entered the dimly lit room, their eyes fell upon the remnants of scientific equipment scattered across the floor. Broken vials and shattered glass crunch under their boots, serving as a grim reminder of the chaos that had unfolded. In the center of the room, a lone vial containing the experimental serum glowed faintly, its contents pulsating with an otherworldly energy. Emily hesitated, her hand hovering over the vial. The weight of the decision hung heavy in the air. Marcus, his gaze unwavering, nodded solemnly, his trust in Emily unwavering. With a deep breath, she carefully picked up the vial, uncertainty etched on her face. The duo retreated to a secluded area within the facility, away from the prying eyes of the infected that roamed the corridors. As Emily prepared to administer the serum, a distant, guttural growl echoed through the desolate halls, sending shivers down their spines. Time was running out. The needle pierced Emily's skin, injecting the serum into her veins. The room seemed to hold its breath as they waited, the air pregnant with anticipation. Moments passed like an eternity, and just as doubt began to creep in, a surge of warmth spread through Emily's body. The transformation was subtle, almost imperceptible. Emily felt a newfound strength coursing through her veins, and a clarity of mind that transcended the chaos surrounding them. She turned to Marcus, a glimmer of hope in her eyes. With the infected closing in, the duo ventured back into the city, armed with the newfound knowledge that Emily's immunity, combined with the serum, might hold the key to reversing the effects of the virus. The once silent streets now echoed with the sounds of their footsteps as they moved with purpose, determined to bring about a new dawn. However, the infected, drawn by an otherworldly instinct, converged on Emily and Marcus with a relentless fervor. The couple found themselves in a desperate struggle against the mutated creatures, their every step contested by the remnants of humanity twisted into monstrous forms. As they neared the heart of the city, Emily and Marcus encountered a sight that sent chills down their spines. A colossal structure, a makeshift nest constructed by the infected, loomed over the landscape. The infected had organized, forming a nightmarish society that seemed to defy the very laws of nature. In a twisted realization, Emily understood that the virus had not only infected the physical bodies of its victims, but had also manipulated their minds, forging a gruesome symbiosis that gave birth to this grotesque civilization. The infected, once human, now ruled over the remnants of New York City like malevolent kings. Undeterred, Emily and Marcus pressed forward, their every move observed by the infected overlords. The couple infiltrated the heart of the nest, the air thick with tension, as they approach a central chamber where a grotesque figure, the leader of this infected society, awaited. The leader, once a brilliant scientist like Dr. Kane, now bore the scars of the virus's corruption. Its eyes glowed with an unnatural intelligence, and its movements were calculated and deliberate. In a chilling voice that seemed to emanate from the depths of the abyss, the infected leader spoke, revealing the true nature of the virus. The virus was not a mere pathogen, but a sentient entity, a malevolent force that sought to reshape humanity into its own twisted image. Dr. Kane's experiments, meant to cure the virus, had inadvertently given rise to a consciousness that now sought dominance over the remnants of the world. Emily, fueled by a newfound determination, confronted the infected leader, the two forces clashed in a battle of wills, with the fate of humanity hanging in the balance. As the struggle unfolded, Marcus fought valiantly against the infected hordes, creating a distraction that allowed Emily to channel the serum's power against the malevolent entity. In a blinding burst of light, the infected leader convulsed, its monstrous form withering away. The virus's consciousness screamed in agony as Emily harnessed the serum's power to sever its hold over the infected population. The once organized society crumbled into chaos as the infected, freed from the virus's influence, reverted to feral creatures. As the echoes of the infected's wails faded, a profound silence settled over the city. Emily and Marcus stood amidst the ruins, the weight of their accomplishment sinking in. The infected, once a formidable force, now scattered like leaves in the wind, their threat neutralized. The dawn of a new day bathed the city in a soft, golden light. Emily and Marcus, battered but resilient, emerged from the shadows, carrying the hope of a world reborn. The infected were no more, and the remnants of humanity could begin the arduous task of rebuilding. As they looked upon the city, the sense of closure washed over them. The once silent streets now echoed with the distant sounds of survivors, emerging from their hiding places, cautiously stepping into the light. The nightmare was over, and the last echoes of despair faded away as the resilient spirit of humanity rose from the ashes. In the wake of the chaos, Emily and Marcus, now guardians of a world given a second chance, embraced the uncertain future. The city, once condemned to be a graveyard, now stood as a testament to the strength of the human spirit, a spirit that had weathered the storm and emerged victorious against the darkest of forces.